for our blue Terran, it is Milkicow. And
That alien is so cool.
Oh, I love Alien Esports logo. It is actually a really good team logo if I ever did see one. And
Dude, these are high quality team logos. Like, these look very nice. The ESL did a great job porting these into the game.
For sure. They are quite fantastic. Looks like we got some interesting hatch replacement already, Renegade. Not to be surprised. It is Mr. Bly from the Ukraine.
It's kind of funny because you can see Milkicow has this tabbed hotkey to his fourth base, so he keeps switching his screen right over this proxy hatch. But it's dramatic irony because there's absolutely zero scout.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, it looks like Milkicow is just setting up for his gas first. Going on to it, we have Overlords coming. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Bly going for that. You know, pretty, just gas and pull follow-up. Nothing too crazy other than the proxy hatch. Let's see if it's going to be scouted immediately. And it looks like, oh, is it going to happen?
Oh, no. No. It's not going to be scouted. It's not
just
scouted.
Out of range. This is beautiful, Renegade. We get to see some Bly memes to the max. We do have to make sure with the Reaper, though. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think it is that no matter what, after this Reaper scouts no hatch, that Milkicow immediately knows it's somewhere on his side of the map? Ooh, double Reaper follow-up. This is... Or is that the SCV?
I think it's, you know, you can kind of play the player, but it's a tough call because you could be getting faked out, and there's just so much money on the line in this tournament, so much prestige that you don't really want to risk it. Now, of course, the creep is out. It's revealed the firstlings are here, so Milkicow knows it's here, but I wouldn't exactly call this a scout on the proxy hatch, right?
No.
It's already up. It's already functional. It's already got 3 larvae stacked, which that is actually interesting. There we go. There's the roaches. He made them all at once. But there is going to be a delay on that 4th larva as a result of them not being made instantly. Link speed on the way for Bly too, so this is going to be a very, very heavy committed attack. I'm guessing he's going to make a couple Ravagers, maybe? No. Okay, yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, this is like... It's kind of like the 3 Rav build at a weird time, but you have Creep and Queens and potential... knowing Bly, who knows? We might see some Spine Crawlers by the time the Creep spreads. But Milkicow going for a Cyclone. I don't hate that against Roach Rav. I don't know about you.
I don't hate that at all. Cyclone is absolutely the correct play against Ravagers. You can get the lock on the Overlord, and of course, you need that Overlord not only for high ground vision, but to allow these guys to drop their biles at maximum range, and of course, it's really easy to snipe them down, as you just saw. So Milkicow in a really solid position. Now, what I don't like about these faraway proxy hatches anymore is, if you guys will recall, queens can no longer transfuse off creeps. So that's why this queen has not joined the fight yet. She has to get these tumors down. They're very critical, not only for possible static defense pushing into your opponent, but also the queen transfuses. Just incredibly indispensable. The Lings fighting in range of the bunker, trying to get a snipe on this Cyclone. SCVs pull up for repair, so it looks like none of the units will fall. The siege tank shoring up the defense on the high ground, but low ground orbital is overrun.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like we have some decent defense from Milkicow, but at the same time, I don't know about you, I'm expecting a Link Flood follow-up here pretty shortly. He does have to break the siege, but with this Cloak Banshee coming, that's always the scary thing when you're proxy hatching or even just going for, say, the Lambo 5 Roach Rush. That Cloak Banshee could be a bit of a problem. We're not going to see a layer for a bit, and we do see a 3rd hatch, but wouldn't hate to see some preemptive Spore Crawlers. It's not Bly's first rodeo, Renegade.
No, that it isn't. Bly, an established player who's been around for a very long time. He could deal with a queen or two being made at the front to deal with this Banshee. Maybe a spore crawler. There we go. There's the spores, and he's gonna start mining from this base. This is really, really, really nice from our red Zerg.
Oh, absolutely. Just as was said before, you're on the same page. We're all thinking the same thing. Those spores are absolutely beautiful for Bly. A beautiful and smart, I'd just say a smart decision from Bly. But we are going to see a drop from Milkicow. And it is not going to be a full medevac drop, but still enough to get damage at home, potentially. Let's take a look at the main base of Bly and see what he has to defend this. We've not taken a look in a minute. He does have some spores. He does have a queen, but in terms of units, it's nothing. He's droning up. Little exposed Nat.
Oh, he drones! I was
he
just about to say he had like 8 larvae stacked on that hatchery, but turns them all into drones.
Yeah, I don't think he's expecting this drop. Literally one queen there. Oh, but a little pickup from our Terran player is... Oh, the Banshee even denied. This is actually kind of not that bad of a spot for Bly, realistically. It's such a strange setup, but he's now getting those links out.
One could say, like, it's a weird flex, but it's okay.
It's totally fine. Like, it's like, well, joke's on you. We just droned, and we're going to follow up. Oh, look at this. Double Evo and a layer from Bly. We have 12 lings in production. Our Terran player kind of contained a little bit, to say the least. And that medevac's almost about to go down Renegade.
Yeah, it's down to 2 units of HP, which is not really a spot you want to be in. A Pog move, like Milkicow could have made, was dropping a mule, but when you're only on 2 orbitals muling and one of them isn't landed at the proper location and you have creep to spread, you really don't want to be wasting resources on things like that. And he can use those Marines to help clean up at home anyway.
Yeah, he's going to use the Marines to clean up that creep in the third. Looks like Milky's going to try to secure a base finally. All that long distance mining, but the army supply's not looking too good for Bly, Renegade.
No, it's not, but I mean, that's kind of to be expected with the composition he's going. Like, he can't actually trade against this. He's just trying to delay, get as much mining from the space as possible before pulling the drones back to the natural, and that's what we're going to see now. The full retreat of the Zerg from the proxy hatch.
Yeah, beautiful pull. Absolutely.
And we are seeing, like, a bunch more roaches popping out. Now, unfortunately, half of them are on the north side of the map. I think Milkicow is playing way too scared against this. It looks like he doesn't have a lot of Marines, but that's because he's lost like 7 or 8 of them as he's trying to back up. And Bly actually did so much with these roaches popping from that hatch, and they could have totally just died if it were a lesser Zerg player.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Milky has stim. He doesn't have combat shields, and honestly, I think that's what helped Mr. Bly take such a good fight. Certainly not a bad situation, but you know what? That proxy hatch still standing. More importantly, though, how much army is back home for our Zerg player? Actually, Ravagers being morphed, and the sacrificial Spore Crawler Renegade. That Spore's tanking for the Ravs.
Yeah, the Spore Crawler actually the hero of this fight, I think, Dave. At least so far. The Ravagers move in. They get double hits on the tanks, not triple hits. Wound to the right flank tanks as well. They have a lot more work to do, and the natural going down for Bly is bad, but he does have a hatch at the 3rd location as well. All the Ravagers die, but the drones are in on the tanks. Only 1 tank left, but it cost Bly 30 drones to take those down.
Oh, absolutely. In total, yeah, and you know what? That hatch is down in the proxy location too. It looks like Milky just takes it.
GG.
Now, apologies here, folks. We are having a slight technical difficulties here. We'll try to clean this up a bit. Yeah.
So, I think what we saw there was, again, kind of a reflection of Bly being the kind of player he is, um, that he's easily readable, due to proxy hatching in most games. It's not only his signature, that's like his entire being, right? Also, he's playing under very difficult conditions. Um, I can only imagine what he's going through mentally, even though he's safe. Like, jeez.
Oh, for sure. That's pretty committed, to say the least. Certainly, yeah, very committed. But what a banger of a game number 1, nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, I gotta say, with all of the shenanigans there, I hope we see some banelings out of Mr. Bly. Looks like I'm having a little locking up here for some reason. Okay, never mind, we're good. I think it's just the EU that happens on cross servers sometime. Not to worry, not to worry.
We are on the loading screen, folks, and there it is. We are in game.
Numero dos.
In the top left, give it up for Red Zerg, Bly.
And his opponent in the bottom right. Give it up for Milkicow. We got our blue Terran player. And yeah. Nothing too cheeky yet. Maybe we're both wrong on a proxy 2 racks or anything, or at least, you know, we were both agreeing on, you know, the possibility of a proxy racks of some form from Milkicow, but I don't think we're going to see it this game.
You don't? What makes you say that?
Well, I mean, we do have a pretty standard setup in the bottom of the map. And yeah, it's looking like a 1-1-1 opener, as you'd see. As I'm sure you see quite frequently, and I'd hope in ZVT Renegade. I know you're more the Zerg player than I a bit.
I wish I saw 1-1-1s in my ZVT games.
Oh no.
I would welcome them like a warm fire in the hearth and a bunch of loving folks in my home, you know, like it's it's NA Masters ladder. What do you mean do you see 1-1-1s? No, people are like tank rushing and like BC rushing, and you end up in these 40-minute games versus Barry Crunch where like you kill all his workers and then the game continues for 20 more minutes and then he's like, nope, gotta take a phone call. It's mayhem. So Bly and Milkicow playing a gentleman's match so far. Hatch Gas Pool up against what looks to be a 1-1-1.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bly opening extremely standard so far. Is he gonna go try to secure a standard time third is the question. I don't know about you, but even when it's off meta or anything, Bly also a pretty good fan of 2-base Muta though.
Yeah, I love Bly's 2-base Muta builds. I'm unbiased here, but Bly is probably my second favorite player of all time, and his 2-base Muta builds are something to behold. He's not the most consistent with them, but oh, did you see that cancel, Dave? Did you see the cancel? I think this might be 2-base Muta. I think. Oh, there's the lair. There's the lair, Dave.
Yeah, we are gonna probably see it. Could be Nida's play though. Another thing Bly has liked for overtime is, you know, we'll see what happens next, but yeah, that's without the realm of possibilities, it's gonna be either or Renegade. But look at this cheeky Reaper, just still in there, able to get some scouting. but the second queen, does the Reaper survive from Milkicow? And that is a hard yes.
It does survive, and that's very important for later scouting. It needs to be out here constantly trying to figure out what's up for Bly. It could get a solid scout on the... Wait a second! There's the Roach Warren! What? Yeah. Oh, man. Bly's playing like 4D chess.
Yeah. This is the kind of Bly everybody in chat, us, and... Well, everybody but Milkicow wants to see. We want that 4D chess Bly play. Oh, he's taking all 4 gases. Is this going to be Roachnitis?
Yeah, no.
It is going to be Roachnitis. Let's go.
And Milkicow is probably going to think that this is Muta.
Yeah, he's like, okay, this is Bly. This is going to be 2 base Muta.
Yeah, look, there's 3 racks.
Milkicow has nothing in the back to scout the Nidus Renegade. This is so cool.
There's not going to be any tanks. Milkicow's putting a reactor on the factory.
Yeah, and he is getting a Viking, though. That could put a stop to this pretty quickly. Do we see any roaches coming out? Oh,
I don't know, Dave. We still have Lynx to spot for vision. There's still the option of changelings. There's the Nidus. Yeah, it's going to be right in the front. There's no time to stop this. The Viking's not even out yet. The bunker already in jeopardy. The low ground is overrun. The Zerglings are going cack as they attack the CC. Here come the roaches any second now. 6 of them popping from their eggs back at the Zerg base, getting ready to pile into this Nidus worm.
But there's another one forming in the back. Milkicow is just pulling all in on this backwards Nidus while the workers in the... Well, the damage in the front's gonna start happening, the creep spreading, distracting Milkicow. Can Bly do it this game, Renegade? Absolutely amazing. You gotta love it. This is such a funny game.
Oh, the depot was not raised, but Bly doesn't really care. He backs out. It looks like it's going to burn down anyway. There's nothing to repair. And this means it's wide open for a Link Flood if Bly wants to. There's nothing on the production tab, though, from our Zerg. He takes a 3rd hatch. He's going to drone and make a couple Overlords. He has clear supply and so much in the bank. I think he was thinking for a moment what he wanted to do. There's 4 more roaches on the production tab.
Yeah,
and another Nidus dropped.
Oh, look at this. He's fighting in so he can get that Nidus. Cleans up the tank. And, yeah, is trying to distract the Marines for a second just to get it up. Even getting some creep in there for a moment. Oh, he's going to be completely denied.
Yeah, I think Bly is becoming indecisive, and he needs to really, really focus on one plan of attack. This is the 2nd or 3rd time he's tried to get the same bluff off by dropping a Nidus in the Terran main, and I think he might be better served just trying to ram his way into the front. Milkicow making a really smart move and taking the 3rd location with his 2nd orbital.
Is he dropping SCVs? He is. He's going to load off SCVs. You know what? If Bly sniffs this out, he could potentially put a little pressure down there, too, with some Lings. Or just go down and snipe it and force a liftoff. But there's going to be a Marine drop again for, well, yeah, it's going to go across just 5 Marines. And I don't know about you, Renegade, if there are any Queens. Let's take a look back here. There's a few, but not really. 2 Queens, I don't know. But some Queen defense would take that right the heck out.
Looks like the creep's going to be cleared from the natural. At least in theory, there are 2 active tumors still behind the mineral line.
Yeah, Bly smartly uses one out of range of the tank. Did you see that? Just out of range of that high-ground siege tank. So he is going to be able to continue the creep spread in Milkicow's natural, at least for a moment.
This drop doing actually not insignificant amounts of damage, picking off 5 drones so far. But I think that's going to be the end of it, tying up a bunch of roaches for Bly. And Milkicow is finally able to get purchased in his own natural. Once again, it's been the first time in like 4 minutes or so, and I'm sure he's very happy about that fact. Bly and Milkicow both have good positions. Both still have an opportunity to win this game.
Oh, for sure. Some good things. Let's take a look at the trades. Units lost. You know, obviously a couple minerals. Oddly enough, Milkicow just, I don't know, it's about even. Bly lost a lot of gas, but realistically, he's going to be on 1-1. Our Terran player on infantry weapons +1, but Milkicow was able to get stim and combat shields.
Bly actually way ahead on the income advantage chart. Up to 69 army supply, 59 drones. This is not inconsequential from our Red Zerg.
Yeah, he has to be careful how he engages this. But Bly's starting to get that army supply advantage. And you know what? This Nidus in the back is going to force a bunch of the Marines to go and aggress toward it. I think he's going to let it finish. Well,
I think that was an accident from Milkicow.
Yeah, a little bit of a misclick possibly. Can Bly do it? Bly is going to kill, oh my gosh, one of the barracks.
I think the Roaches just trade out here, but they are going to thin the numbers of Marines. Oh, the burrow.
The burrow. Gotta love it, Renegade. This is why we love to see Bly. You know, I don't care if you're a Protoss player, a Terran player, a Zerg player. Bly putting on the show for everybody. Taking a 4th hatch behind this, by the way, just completes. Very cool stuff, Renegade.
So, it hurts. It pains me to say this. But you look at the income graph and you're like, okay, Bly's doing great. You look at like all this creep spread he's done and damage to the Terran and the resources lost. And it starts to paint a more even picture. The amount of minerals lost on both sides is actually even here, and that's really good for Milkicow, considering he's trading against a bigger economy. So he's finally able to reestablish his 3rd, and I think Milkicow still has a shot, but that's only if Bly doesn't hurl this 100 army supply of Roach Ravager right down Milkicow's throat. It's going to be a tough hold for Milkicow, but a doable hold.
Oh, for sure. And now with missile turrets, the thing that makes me... oh, look at that friendly fire out of the tank, killing that one forward position tank in between the Nat and the 3rd Renegade. That is pretty big brain stuff. Bly's actually trying to do this kind of like how he would play with Burrowed Banes. That was like 200 IQ play right there from our Zerg player.
Yeah, trying to make the Terran units shoot themselves in their confusion. Definitely a unique play from Bly using the burrowed roaches, but it's only going to work so many times, and eventually he just has to pop them out of the ground and reset the siege tank count. And in the meantime, the main force of the Zerg cruises into the natural, will take out the final tank that was on the field initially, picks out the missile turret, making Burrow a viable option again, and forces a liftoff on the 3rd command center.
Yeah, well, Renegade, with that being said, we do have some aggression on the 3rd base of Bly. I do believe he pulled all the drones to the 4th. Terran is going to lift off to the main, and Bly is going to retreat back. He did force the liftoff, like you said. That's actually beautiful. Get some collateral damage. But I don't like the fact that there's no queen down at the 3rd base.
So I think that these roaches could do with a solid burrow. They could use some healing. They are very red and orange roaches. They will heal as they scuttle around.
Yeah.
He's got to be careful. This bio sims them down, and Bly is in a really bad spot. Well, there's a lot of army supply about to die nearly for free. Well, okay, he reinforces through the Nidus with some full health roaches and averts the total rout.
For sure. Medevac barely hanging on. 3 Marines up in the northeast. But I was going to point out, we have concussive shell marauders who finished just a bit ago on +1 infantry armor for Terran, but Bly is on 2-2. If you could stay up on this, he's had more of an advantage against the bio when they didn't have their infantry armor, but still 2-2, pretty good. And look at this positioning from Bly. He's going back in the main. He's going to jump on the production Renegade.
Yeah, this is a brilliant move. There's nothing here to defend. Now, Bly didn't actually know that. There was not really scouting of the main base, but he took a gamble, he took a risk, and it's going to pay off hugely for him. This Terran production is going to be in shambles. At least 2 barracks are going to die here, potentially the starport, a bunch of SCVs as well. And now Milkicow is checkmated. Dave, I think we might be going to game 3.
Yeah, I think we are, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't Milkicow need a 2-0 here, as well as a game against Strange?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me check my notes. So,
very cool stuff.
Milkicow needs a 2-0, and Drogo needs to lose against Strange for qualification. This is how I did the math.
Mm-hmm.
Which hopefully is correct. It's math. It's iffy. Okay, it's not my strongest subject. I'm a humanities person.
Yeah, you know, sometimes something's got to give. Absolutely. So excuse me for a moment.
So guys, Group D is entirely shut down. The 4 players moving on to the bracket are Showtime, the 7-0 series record, Clem, Shadown, and Rattata in that order.
Yeah.
Are Gung Fu Banda, Goblin, and Forjumi not qualifying, but Goblin, Gung Fu, and Art are going to be taking home a good chunk of prize money today.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay, we have a break requested from one of the players.
Okay, guys, we're gonna run an ad break, and we will be right back.
Yeah, very good stuff. And that said, I'm going to put up the bracket scene while we're there for a minute. Well, Renegade, looks like we are already back in the game. Was a quicker break.
Yeah. Blackburn is going to be our third and final map.
What are your thoughts? Is this going to be the 2-1 I was thinking in the realm of likelihood, or we're going to see Bly come back, Renegade?
Well, we could see Bly come back, and there is a chance if Aquaron loses 2-0 to MaxPax, which he has actually. MaxPax beat Aquaron 2-0, so I think if he wins this, he actually can move to 7th place.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, well, that said, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn, Sport in the Blue representing Alien Esports. Give it up for our blue Terran player, Milkicow.
And in the bottom right, as our red Zerg, it's Bly.
Zibly. I'm kind of curious why we're not seeing the logos as we did in Game 1. This happened in the previous series, too.
Yeah, that's super weird. Did you set players as team?
I'm not the ref setting these lobbies up.
We all have to. Okay, okay. We'll talk. So, pool first from Bly.
Yeah. Not to be unexpected, and look at this. He's not even going for a gold base. Bly just going for. Is he gonna go for like a 5 roach push? Do you think? He's been liking his roaches.
I mean, I think it's too early to tell I mean, this wasn't a gas first timing.
Sure.
It's gonna be Ling aggression into who knows what.
Yeah, for sure. It's just standard Bly cheese for the starts. But we'll see what happens here. Definitely looking like, as you said, some early Lings pushing out. Just 4. I don't know about you, but I don't like a high Ling count against the Terran right at first. Especially at this level. It's pretty quick to snowball and get shut down pretty easy.
Yeah.
But you know what? I do like the fact that this Reaper will be scouted, and it looks like we might see these 2 Lings. Oh, there we go. Beautiful play from Milkicow, sending another SCV down because he's expecting Lings. As he scouted him with the SCV, but there's nothing really to defend it back home just yet for Bly. That's the unfortunate thing. Oh, actually, there's a Queen in the low ground.
Well, there goes the bunker.
Yeah. Delayed bunker. Beautiful micro from Bly. He's chasing down that SCV in the high ground. Misclick, though. He's not going to deny the command center.
I love this, though. Bly being so conservative with this initial attack, it's almost going to be a triple fake. So the Lings are denied, but this stops the Reaper scout. Ling speed is on the way. Bly is in gas, but the trick is, by the time Milkicow's Reaper actually arrives and scouts these drones in gas, it's a reasonable time to be pulling them back into gas anyway. So Bly is getting away with 150 extra gas to make these roaches, with no scout from Milkicow at the very least, and there's still no scout from our blue Terran. So this is... Yeah.
This is a little scary at the same time. Funnily enough, naturally we do have the Tech Lab follow-up as you would for our Terran player. He isn't really setting up for Roach. He could almost like blind counter Bly by virtue of the first 2 games, but he's going to open kind of safe and standard, it looks like. And going into a 2-1-1, it looks like. Interestingly enough, that is not too bad if it's not scouted, but like, I don't know. How do you think a 2-on-1 is going to fare against this Renegade?
I mean, I think roaches roll Marines until at least 1-1 hits for them. We're seeing a lot of Hellions in the mix for Milkicow. That's always rough when you're going up against Mass Roach. This is a build that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Although I usually get 4 more roaches. I think we're going to see some Ravagers or some other way for Bly to switch this up. You know what? No, he might just be sacking these 6 roaches. So,
for sure.
The uber play you can do when you're aggressive against your opponent like this is the Terran is expecting you to go into Mutalisk, right?
For sure.
So what do you think you actually do, Dave?
Well, he's expecting you to go into mutas and to follow up. So you're going to probably start seeing some Vikings, missile turrets, etc.
Well, what do you do as the Zerg?
Well, as the Zerg... Oh.
Mass Food Roach.
Yeah, mass
Kill
food
everything he has. Make him suffer, right? Because he's going to skip out on siege tanks.
Yeah.
Go heavy into Marine, and you're going to trade out really well against them until they start scaling. So you kill him quickly and early. And Dave, it's not going to be... Well, okay, there's the speed, there's the roaches, and there's the Nidus. I love this from Bly.
Bly's like, well, it worked the last game. Can we see Milkicow mount a good defense against this? He saw that Overlord in the back, and look at... He jumped on it, and at first, if you noticed, he pulled even more Marines than he did in the past with it. Like, he's nervous about that Nidus after the previous game. He's like, you know, there's tournament money on the line here, and there's qualifications on the line as well.
And 15 roaches making a big play for Bly.
Oh yeah, and he does have... Well, he's going for Carapace and Burrow this time, not going for that 1-1. Ranged attacks and flyers attacks. Oh, Bly is taking a bad fight with that Hellion, but does clean it up. And yeah, we have a double medevac moving across the map from Milkicow. That might be a little scary. We're in a little bit of a base race kind of situation, just slightly, Renegade.
Yeah, you think so? I think
Fly
can pop out enough roaches on this to stop it.
But is he going to? Yeah, he's going to have to start right now.
600 gas in the bank.
Yeah. Burrow not quite complete.
Oh,
for a
the
while.
fly block, though. That's going to eviscerate Bly's defense. He's walking the roaches home.
Yeah, he is getting a few out with the overlords popping, but he needs to keep these workers alive. You know what would be big brain? Well, if he had a Nidus, would be to dump the drones in the Nidus. But yeah, that's the only Nidus form he has out right now for Z Network. And yeah. Are we gonna see that third CC go down from our Terran player? I don't know. He's just he's getting to his 5 racks, but you know, not an uncommon thing not to see the third CC just yet. Oh no, yeah, he's gonna land it. He's going to try to land it, but be greeted with a Nidus. Mistakes were made by Caster Dave. But you know what, Renegade?
What?
Is that third CC gonna matter? I think it is.
Yeah. Of course, the third CC is gonna matter. I think what's gonna matter more though is Bly is pulling this maneuver again, where he's going to demolish the production of Milkicow. This Nidus is totally envisioned, and Milkicow just took too long to respond, so he is going to have a hit squad of roaches to deal with in the main. Now, the prediction I made where his total, the totality of his production is decimated is not going to come to pass, but he does have to deal with these very annoying burrowed roaches, and I love how conservative Bly is being with them, splitting them off in 1s, 2s, 3s, rather than using them as a whole mass. He's going to be absolutely everywhere. Like,
oh yeah. This is actually pretty cool. Bly's got nice little splits, and he used that one in the bottom right to get this Nidus warm up. That is absolutely cool. And guess what? This may just make our Terran player mauled. A lot of this bio is getting cleaned up, Renegade.
All of the bio is getting cleaned up. Milkicow has to pull back defenders from the natural. Luckily, he did clean up the roaches down there, I think. Yeah, he did. But this is mass casualties for the Terran. SCV after SCV is getting hit by balls of acid. Another burrowed roach splitting off to the natural to actually deal damage as he lets the Terran overrun the Nidus worm. And
yeah, in total we have 25 workers going down for Milkicow and counting. That was some cool stuff, Renegade.
Well, very importantly, behind this, Bly has taken the gold base. He can saturate that whenever he wants. He's got a ton of larvae on the ground ready to be made into fresh levies, a bunch of money, both minerals and gas in the bank for our Zerg to keep sustaining these attacks against the Terran. Milkicow is weathering the assault so far, but can he batten down the hatches enough to survive the full storm of Bly?
Now, one thing I was going to say, it's kind of like watching Korean Terran. For example, for a bit, I was watching Steadfast cover Gumiho and Beyond last night, and Gumiho using a supply depot like a Protoss uses a pylon to scout. Funnily enough, we see a Terran using a siege tank much like a Protoss would use an Immortal to deny a Nidus. It was an unsieged tank. That's actually a really smart, it doesn't seem it, but it's actually a really smart move. Just leaving an unsieged tank in the spot where the Nidus is kept coming in. It will out DPS it. I don't know though. Renegade, I don't know about you. I'd like, oh, do you see this? We get a nice Baneling follow-up finally in game number 3.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll actually see any Banelings, but Baneling Nest sure is there. A couple medevacs splitting off to the third base after finishing off the fourth. They will not be able to drop at the third. Bly has that on lockdown, but this other push from Milkicow is going to shut down Bly's other fourth. And this is very, very, very good moves from our blue Terran. Bly, oh my god.
That was a kill, not a cancel. Bly was not paying attention, Renegade. And these biles are not going to connect, sadly. This is looking rough for Mr. Bly. And
he can still like unite his forces and try to force a base race. Milkicow has not left that much at home to defend. He's got 5 siege tanks and a handful of bio. If he catches the siege tanks out of position, he can take a favorable engagement and end. But he didn't pull everything, so he's gonna get decimated by the tank line. A lot of Ravagers died in that short exchange, and this is looking like it's Milkicow's game at this point.
Yeah, Bly loses yet another hatch when he tried to retake the gold base. Milkicow strategically waited, I think, for it to get closer to finishing, and with all the engagements for that force on the right, which is now a drop. And this is going to be a multi-pronged attack from our Terran. Oof. The Marauder count's just so high. There were some cool trades for Bly earlier, but this is looking like it could be sealed pretty shortly. I agree, Renegade.
Milkicow dropping in the main, taking out the queen. +2 and a lot of danger. The Baneling nest goes down. We did see a couple Banelings, but they aren't going to make a difference against this bio play of Milkicow, and Milky keeps getting farther and farther ahead. He's going to start being able to build a bank now. +3 infantry weapons on the way as +2 ranged hits for Bly. These numbers just don't add up for the Zerg, and his outlying hatches look like they're going to get sniped again.
Oof. Does he get...
Not this time. Maybe not this time.
Bly is maneuvering as well as he can, but look at that army supply for Milkicow, and he's going to push in with a lot of tanks. He does have +3 on the way for infantry weapons, and with that vehicle weapon +1, this is just a tough cookie to crack.
Yeah, for sure. Bunch of Marauders are trying to dance with the Ravagers. Ooh. Spread on the bile is really good, but does Bly have enough to hold on? The answer is no. He's down to 23 army supply as he loses the gold base again. And Milkicow still has 3 tanks left in action, a bunch of Marauders in play. Infestors the burrow at the front for Bly, but this is all that's between the Terran and the natural of the Zerg, and it looks like Milkicow will be taking the series 2-1.
Yeah, that's just about it. Supply do not lie, Renegade. If Bly made other decisions, we'd see it. GG's.